Welcome to Newsfile. This is your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here is Samson's take. It's Act Professionally, Stop the Abuse, Part 5. Now, every responsible police commander I have known since I started driving only some 20 years ago has confirmed the law and cautioned against officers impounding vehicles on account of a driver's inability to produce a driver's license upon demand for inspection. Yes, no commander or even low-rank officer with sound knowledge and up to the task interprets the law so poorly and so very embarrassingly. And sometimes we know, just for the purposes of extracting and extorting that 5 CDs, 10 CDs, 20 CD notes. The DVLA has shown integrity and respect for the people they serve by admitting that the threat to impound vehicles of drivers who are unable to produce their license for inspection was an error. They say it was a genuine mistake. They have clarified that that statement they issued was wrong. It was an error to have added Regulation 158 to Regulation 47. Yet some police officers are doing this. You are doing the job for the DVLA. They continue to abuse people, making impounding vehicles their default action over license inspection. Director of Driver Training, Testing and Licensing at the DVLA. What a consummate professional Kafui Semevo is. He won many hearts with his demeanor and the integrity of his communication when he made the admission and gave the clarity on the Super Morning Show. I just love public officers who demonstrate the appreciation that theirs is service to people and facilitating easy enjoyment of services by the people. In fact, I drove straight to their premium offices after my day in court that day to renew my license. Now, what does this Regulation 47 of the Road Traffic Regulations 2012 LI 2180 say? I'm sharing it with you. Let's read together. That's my copy. I've done something to it. It is so clear that I don't see how some of the errant police officers try to import Regulation 158 into it. Impounding vehicles for wrongful parking, for the vehicle not being roadworthy upon examination. It's not the same that this particular regulation requires. This regulation is very clear. And please, let's all comply with the law. It says a person driving a motor vehicle shall, while driving at all times, carry that person's original driver's license. Carry the original. Don't carry photocopy, so some police officer will have trouble with you. Now, in this age of technology, if they are having a copy or an image of their driver's license on their phone and they show it to you, I don't see why you should be angry. What you need is not the card, but the information on the card. Dear police officer, what you need is the information. And if he shows you they have a scanned copy, or even it's a photocopy, and it shows you the information. Why do you deal with them the way you behave? It is only the gun and the uniform that separates you from that person you interact with on the road. So here it is. Carry your original, please. Ghana people, your police people don't want trouble. Carry the original so that you don't have to pay 5 cedis or 20 cedis and 50 cedis. It says, a person driving or in charge of a motor vehicle on a road shall, on the request of a police officer in uniform, please note that they must be in uniform, or an authorized officer of the licensing authority, produce the driver's license that authorizes that person to drive the motor vehicle for inspection. For inspection. That's all you have to do. Inspect and give it back to them. Now, the provision you have been misconstruing is Sub-Regulation 3. Despite Sub-Regulation 2, a police officer in uniform may request the person to produce within 24 hours the driver's license of that person to that officer at a designated police station or to another police officer as may be directed by the officer. This one doesn't say you have a discretion in giving them 24 hours. The discretion here is about where they should bring it within 24 hours. That's the discretion you have. Not that you have a discretion to grant them to bring it within 24 hours or not. Now see the emphasis of the lawmaker in Sub-Regulation 4, where a person driving a motor vehicle is required to produce a license, a certificate, or a document relevant to driving the motor vehicle. That person shall, mandatory, that's what our Interpretation Act says, produce it immediately. So that's the first step. Once the police officer or the licensing authority asks you to show your license, produce it immediately, right there and then. Or please, it is within immediately or within 24 hours of being required to produce the license, certificate, or document. So you don't have a discretion in it. If they can't produce it immediately, you give them 24 hours. Take their address. That's your business. Find out where you can locate them. The default should not be to impound the vehicle, because reading through all of this, there's no impounding of the vehicle for you to do. And finally, Sub-Regulation 5, a police officer in uniform and not below the rank of an inspector may, where necessary, retain the driver's license. It didn't say retain the vehicle. Oh, retain the license for the period that the license is required, and shall issue an official receipt for the retention. Check that. You just collect it and you ask them to go. You must issue them a receipt for the retention of that license. Regulation 158 has nothing to do with this. Regulation 158 says that when you park your vehicle wrongly, unattended, they should impound it or tow it to their offices. When upon examination, that's not a question of inspecting a license. This one is about the license. Regulation 158 is about the item, the vehicle itself. It says when they park it wrongly, or when you examine it, examination, when you examine it, and maybe their lights are not working, their brakes are faulty, or something of the sort, then you may impound it, discretionary. You may impound it until the issue has been resolved. The guys are sphincters. On Monday, you arrested this guy. You took his license and impounded the vehicle in addition. You ask him to show up in court on Thursday. He shows up in court on Thursday. Your excuse to him is that, oh, because of certain things, you couldn't register the case for court. So he should come next week. His vehicle is still with you. What is this? Why are you abusing the uniform that they pay for? You have done the same thing to other people. You don't do that. Please, let's stop this barbaric conduct and act like we are civil and civilized. Thank you very much. That will be my take. Ashaiman is still on my mind. Until that blight is addressed, this democracy is but a sham. That's my take. We'll be right back to deal with the issues with my guests.